YouTube channel. This is the Coach Champ. And if you've not subscribed, I'm tired of saying subscribe. If you by mistake got on this channel and you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you very much. God bless you. Okay, so today I'm joined by an amazing, powerful woman who will be sharing her story. I'm joined by Oroluwa Aremo. Um, I would like to say a little bit about Ore, but I want her to, introduce herself by herself with her own mouth so that you hear from her directly. So over to you, Ore. Can we meet you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I am super grateful and happy to be on your YouTube channel. I truly appreciate what you're doing. I truly appreciate this series. And when you reached out to me saying I should join or I should, feature, I didn't think twice. I'm like,
you.
yeah, I'm ready to, be on this. And yeah, let me see. So my name is Orelu Aremo. I consider myself to be a lot of things, but what I would say for sure is I am a Christian. I believe in God. I also believe that there is a world after this world that we're currently in. I also believe in giving gratitude. I also believe in, believe in love, believe in community, just believe in taking one step at a time. What else? What else can I say? Whenever I try to introduce myself to people, I think that a lot of times we are too obsessed with what we are doing as a person rather than who we are. So I'll say this. My friends consider me to be fun. I don't know if that's true, but I guess I'm just going to say it. I consider myself to be fun. I do like music. I like movies. A couple of things that I enjoy. I do like community. I believe that I have been shaped by one, and now I'm so much interested in nurturing and building communities. And what else? If you could ask me questions as to what I believe I haven't yet talked about, that's fine. But I guess that's what I'll say about myself. And you will learn more during the conversation.
That's so cool. I love it. I love it that we need to understand that we are beyond what we do. There's a whole personality, a whole person, a whole spirit behind who is doing what you do. So yeah, I love it. So can you share can you share your career journey with us, how you moved specifically into tech and what you do in tech, literally that your journey first. Thank you.
Okay, so let me see. Actually, I think I'll definitely say that I've been in tech all my life, and I'll say why. When I was done with NYSC, I got a job with Konga. Konga Online, and then it wasn't necessarily it wasn't called tech. It was something fresh in the country, Nigeria. It's like an online shopping platform, which right now is tech, but back then it wasn't tech. And I started with customer support, right? So essentially my first degree, I got a degree in mass communications. Interestingly, I think this may be the first time I'll say this publicly, but I actually wanted to be a psychologist. That didn't happen. Don't ask me why. I wanted to be a psychologist. And so but I ended up doing mass communication. I did mass communication essentially because when I was in secondary school, I really liked to write stories. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I think it was years later that I understood why. I might not necessarily share yet, but there's a story behind why I liked to write, right? And I noticed that there were certain courses I wasn't good at. I hated maths. I hated biology. There's even no way you even see me do chemistry, so that's out of it, right?
Yeah.
I was typically in school, I was just typically this average student. I didn't like books. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was just too much for me. But we're thankful that we scaled through. And so with Huawei, with Konga, I was doing customer support. Initially I was picking calls, and then after a while I was moved into the email department, right? And so there's a lot of writing, and that was fun for me, right? It was just really fun, just essentially reading people's email, trust me, and just trying to kind of picture their faces this picture, how angry they are as they're typing the mail. In fact, even hearing voices. Because when you read an email, you're just trying to,
You
this
can pick
person,
up the tone.
or this person is about, this person So that was fun. And then, yeah, so like after when I left Conga, I then went to do masters. Yeah, I'm sure you're wondering, but you say you don't like book. Why masters? That's another. So I went to do masters, and I got to do a couple of customer support work, and then I started working with Huawei when I got back to Nigeria. Just essentially doing something relating to VAS operations there. And then I would say for sure that I moved into tech. And when I started working with Sandbox. I don't know if it's okay that I even call the companies. Is that okay that I call them?
It's very fun, yeah.
So I started working with Sandbox, and I started working as a communications associate.
Yeah.
Interestingly, how I got Sandbox work, I think I was at work one day in Huawei. I just essentially thinking about how I didn't really like what I was doing and how I felt like I needed to be doing something relating to comms because it's something I really enjoy doing. And then some guy that I know, reached out to me. It was then the guy is still actually in venture capital. He reached out to me saying, like a portfolio company is actually looking for like somebody who will lead their comms. What do you think about that? And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So he introduced me to the founders of Sandbox, and I went to do interview. I was told to do a couple of things. I think I was just very excited to kind of like leave the space, because it felt like I worked like in established companies, like not necessarily established, like companies that don't refer themselves to as startups. And so it was very exciting for me to join Sandbox, and that was when I kind of like joined. And it felt like, yeah, I'm not a tech babe or whatever the case may be. But in real sense, I feel like I've been in tech all my life. But that's how the journey has been for me to, where I am right now.
That's really nice. Really nice. Okay, funny story, yeah. I met Ore at Sandbox when I used to work at Sandbox. Short meeting, but I got stuck to our magic because Ore is a focus babe. Okay, so do you want to tell us what drives you so much about storytelling? Because I specifically remembered one of the online campaigns that we did together about Valentine for Sandbox, and we had this Osita, and people started thinking you were Osita and all something. And I know Moses also was thinking, okay, so Moses was our colleague then, and he also thought that it was like I'm the Osita and all that. So what are you thinking? What drives that storytelling in you and all that?
Yeah. Let me see. I think that with Sandbox, right? I think I was very much passionate as to what that company was building, right? And I think with passion, you then tend to think about understanding. You tend to think about being aligned with like the vision and the mission. At Sandbox, I don't even think they kind of like had like an outspoken mission or vision or whatever the case may be. But when you have conversations with the founders, right, you could tell like what really drove them. And for you to kind of like, be better at probably where you are, where you're working, you have to kind of like understand that and also infuse yourself into whatever mission or vision of the company, right? And I really like that because it was something I was so much interested in. I spoke to a lot of customers then. Even if I was doing comms, I was also doing customer support. So I spoke to a lot of customers then. And I think that I was so much attached to maybe like whatever struggle that they had as business owners. I always tell people that I cannot be a business owner. I don't think I have the brain for it. Some people might argue that I do, but I don't think I have the brain for it. I think it takes a lot to be that. And however way that you can support in any capacity, especially if they are like your target audience, I think that's okay, right? And I think that particular campaign just came with the fact of how, these guys are using the service. Of course, we had like times where we send stuff to them or do whatever to them. And we had like this person Osita from Sandbox then. and then before I left, we changed it to another name.
Okay.
Who kind of like send them emails, and then we figured that a lot of people, whenever they want to speak to us, like speak to Sandbox, they always used to say, you better tell Osita from Sandbox that this is my problem. You better set the thing up. Okay, so it's Osita. The name just felt like something they could connect to, because they didn't necessarily know our faces or who we are, but they could connect to Osita from Sandbox, because Osita from Sandbox was the one always sending messages to them, letting them know that, okay, like sending resources to them, letting them know that this was going on, this is how to grow your business, this is how to be better. Like, okay, so what's the idea of having like this name, sending them gifts, right? That's where the whole idea came from. Like, so you have like this Osita where you're angry with him sometimes, you're praising him sometimes for doing things well. I mean, like, it's part of the job, right? It's balanced. You can't get 100%. And that kind of like came up with the idea of, get a gift from Osita. And people were super excited. People were excited to probably even meet this Osita. And then people would sometimes even come to the office and be like, I want to speak to Osita. Who is Osita? But really, the Osita was like the entire company entirely. Like, it was everybody.
Yeah.
Down person who is, or probably even the gate man of the office downstairs, because everybody has a role to play when it comes to customer support, when it comes to customer success. So in terms of storytelling, I think for me, my passion just comes to the fact that I just enjoy writing. I particularly haven't written as well as I think I should in a while, but like, it's like the idea of enabling people to prosper, to be honest, because it's like I've been given that capacity, so why not spread it as I can. Do you get what I mean? Like that's what I believe it is, right? And I also believe that my life is big, my life or my mission or whatever is higher than what I probably would think, right? And it's not just all about me. It has to be how I actually help others prosper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Honestly, that was really good. Because when there is like a purpose behind everything that drives you, it shows even at work. It shows how you're attending to customers. I like what you said about people think their role is independent of other people's role. No, it's like a team. Okay, so I watched this PSG and I can't remember who they played with again. And they won PSG, and they had Neymar, they had Messi, they had Mbappe on the team, like top guys though, but they were playing individualism. They wanted to score, this person wanted to score. At the end of the game, they lost and they're out of Champions League. Meaning there is no brand without even the most, in quotes, insignificant person. Everybody is important to the story, to the success of any brand. So I really, really like that. I love the idea that Osita was everybody. So So currently Ore works in investment tech. Just in case you are looking to, Ore has money, you don't even think about that.
Please don't.
Honestly, so I know you moved from logistics tech and all that to investment tech, and how does it look like working in investment tech? I have no experience whatsoever in that regard. So how is it like working in investment tech? Is it fun? Are you guys scared of investing and then losing your money, or what does the entire thing look like?
Let me see. I think for me, for sure, it's working in venture capital has been very challenging. And it's like a whole new dimension on its own. You get what I mean? Like, and that's like one of the reasons why I actually joined, because I was so much interested or curious, not necessarily interested. I was so much interested about the space, and then I decided to join. And so far so good. I'll say for sure that sometimes it gets frustrating for me, because like, no, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a reason why there's frustration, but like even with what I'm currently doing, I'm still handling people. So like all the way, like everything that I have done, my career so far always has to do with handling people, right?
Yeah.
And so like there's really no like difference. The only thing is just, well, it's a different space. Mission vision is different. You're thinking differently, or how you communicate is different, and all of that. I mean, it's quite interesting. Like there's always something new going on. Like there's always something, just fascinating going on, and there's always something to learn. I've been there for like a year plus right now.
Wow.
And I can say for sure that like it's just been really interesting, to be honest. That's all I can say, to be honest. And sometimes exciting. Sometimes I've had very low points. Sometimes I've had very high. Sometimes I've, challenged or questioned my knowledge or whatever. But it's just all about learning and actually the willingness to want to learn and want to grow and understand that everything you do, you're doing it to kind of like make someone prosper or help somebody in whatever capacity, to be honest, right? And so, yeah, that's what I'll definitely say in regards to working in that space. In returns to investing and all of that, I mean, yeah, I'm involved sometimes with who we're investing in, but worrying about maybe we invest wrongly, I don't think that's like my department to worry about. But like, sometimes I've thought about it, just saying, okay, now what if this company, I mean, like, we have like experts who that's like
to worry about that.
Yes, that's their worry, and not necessarily mine. But I think that the team in general is so much focused, really interesting, very smart. I mean, very smart people. So just being in that space has just been like a thing of, should I say, joy for me, and a thing of, oh yeah, like I could be better, right? Yeah. We could grow, we could do so much more, and feeling like fulfilled, like you're actually helping probably like these startups or these companies like make money or get investment, and at the same time also helping them with resources or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I would definitely say that that's how it has been for me so far, regards to working in that space.
That's nice. So what would you say is like your biggest success story so far? Maybe from where you are currently? Yeah.
Let me see. I'll definitely say for sure that my business success story my biggest story hasn't happened yet, because we're just starting. However, I would necessarily not tie this to work. I would tie this to something I've done personally.
Okay.
Sometime in 2020, I started a community of people who were interested in helping orphans, right? You would ask me like, how is that good or whatever? I mean, we're not as active as we used to be, but like that's something I'm actually passionate about in terms of helping children, in terms of helping orphans, and of course, everything is always a background story. So I'll definitely say that was a very big success for me, because people joined, people showed support however they can. Somebody even reached out to me saying she wanted to, volunteer. Like it was just really just interesting, just having people, kind of like want to be involved in this, right?
Yeah.
However, I had to have like a very hard stop sometime in 2021. And 2021, and I haven't necessarily gotten myself back into going back. But for the fact that it actually lasted for that period of time, and we're able to support at least like 10 orphanages, like in like the period of time that we were actually very active. That was actually really good for me. And trust me, some of the members I didn't even know, some of the members I've never met before, it was just a thing of using socials and just saying, oh, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to be doing it. And essentially we're vetting these orphanages and just majorly sending their details and helping how we can help. So I'll definitely say so far that has been the biggest. Again, everything for me always ties down to how to help, how to prosper, how to majorly move forward. I think I have the time. The decisions I make, I'm always thinking about myself. Probably last sometimes, not all the time, but like I'll definitely say that's the biggest, right? That's really a success story of mine, not necessarily in terms of career, but like in terms of generally how I've been so far. But in terms of career, I mean, we've had some really interesting things that we've done, and that's fine, that's okay. But like this story is definitely what I would say is the biggest for me.
I love it. I do. It's really beautiful. I joined the community socially, and I
Yeah,
wasn't in Nigeria because I would have loved to, be present physically,
yeah,
just to extend an arm of love to these children,
yeah.
because it's not their fault that they are
Mm,
orphans and they shouldn't
it's
have
really
to
not.
suffer for
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, so that's really lovely.
Mhm.
Okay, I think one question that is really out of the box is, have you ever worked in an hostile environment? I have, and I left unapologetically. I left without even saying, oh, I left because you're not going to get me mad or run me mental just because I work in the organization. So I don't know if you've had that kind of experience. How did you handle it? Do you have tips for people? Yeah.
Mm, yes, like yourself, I have, and I'll definitely say I've worked in probably like two or three that were
Mm,
very toxic, right?
yeah.
And like you did, my advice is always to leave. I
Yeah.
mean, we can say that this is coming from a place of being like a place of privilege or whatever,
Mm-mm.
but what I know for sure is that however, whatever more minutes or hours you spend with them is damaging you deeper than you would ever imagine. And
Absolutely.
you probably don't even realize how damaged you are until you probably leave, right? I think for me, I reflected a lot in a lot of things, right?
Mm,
And I would definitely say that the tip I have is
mm,
just try to look for ways to live. But at the same time, you also need to understand that there's no way that it's 100. I mean, if there are people who are working somewhere that is 100, please let them,
come
you know,
out and tell us.
let me know so I can apply for a job where they're working. There's no
Mm,
place that's 100. There's always something that
yeah.
is off or something that, but there are things that you cannot compromise, and that's being in a toxic place.
Yeah.
You just cannot, to be honest. Like, it's a particular place I work that was scarred.
Hmm.
Like, I would spend, like, literally, I'll be walking like that and I'll be crying. Oh my God, what is my life? Not like I literally would just be
Oh my goodness.
crying. And I remember like the day I decided to leave, I
The
just sat down
peace.
and I was crying. I cried for like maybe like 10 minutes. I just cleaned my eyes, wrote my whatever,
Resignation
and
letter.
I left. I didn't even have a backup plan. I mean, I was working somewhere, but like they were not paying me as.
Yeah.
I mean, I left, and then it was when I left I actually realized how
Hmm.
scared I was. Like I
Wow.
left and then I was doubting a lot of things about myself. And I was
Hmm.
wondering, am I a scam? I mean that happens sometimes, but when it not happens based on probably where you worked or whatever the case may be, that's the problem. So definitely my tip will be don't be a part of the problem because you
Hmm.
might not even realize that some of the things that they were doing, you start doing it yourself. Right? You start being that person. And trust me, like trust me, you might say things like, "Oh, I'm not easily influenced." Oh, blah, blah. Nah, don't do that because you can't be influenced. You can't be influenced with how somebody treated you, and the next thing you start treating somebody else like that. It's until you can like reflect on it and then realize, nah, this is not how you are. This is
Yeah.
something. This is a bad habit you picked up somewhere, and you need to change, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying this based on what happened to me. So the very first place that I called toxic, when I moved somewhere else, I noticed that some of the things that were done to me in my previous place of work, I started to do it where I was working, like after. And then it
Hmm.
was just a thing of, no,
This is
you
not
can't be
me.
part of the problem. Do you understand? Like,
Hmm.
you have to essentially, you know, be a better person. And I
Hmm.
think I will, and I think after when I reflect or whatever the case may be, I think I even went to some of my colleagues that I think I may have hurt, maybe with my words or with my actions or whatever, and I was essentially apologizing again and again to them. And I'm sure they were wondering like, what was wrong with this girl? But they don't get it. The whole idea is just that I picked up this stuff that I
Hmm.
didn't want to pick up, and I became that person. So like
Hmm.
think about how it will actually impact your life as a person and how it can probably even impact your work. So my advice essentially is reflect on it and know that it's not your fault that they are the way they are, or the company is toxic. I mean, somebody was even telling me that it's not the company that's toxic, it's probably the people that is. We get that. I don't want to hear that conversation. Toxic is toxic.
The
So
company
yeah,
is the people in it, honestly. So there's no company without the people. So
the people
yeah,
make the company, right?
yeah,
So
that's the culture.
so yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say in regards to that question.
Yeah, there's really no better way to put it. When you're working in a toxic environment, you need to leave. You need to leave faster than you came in, and that's because you can lose sense of your worth, not just career worth. Now I'm talking about your personality
Yeah,
worth. You
yeah,
could start you could second guess everything up until the
agree.
moment where you get fired because
Yeah,
you're not bringing anything to the table, and you
yeah,
wouldn't even be able to explain and say, oh, is this environment that has caused this. Nobody wants to listen to the excuses. They just see the damage and let you go. So you need to take the first step, excuse yourself from that moment, then
yeah,
build yourself back. Yeah, I
yeah.
really love the fact that you're saying build yourself back, let go of those imbibe on psychologically. You've imbibed some
Yeah,
traits, some attitude. Yeah,
yeah,
let it go, or else you're the problem in a new place.
yes, exactly. You become the problem. Exactly, you become the problem in a new place. I
Yeah,
agree with that. Yeah.
that's awesome. So, I don't know, not everybody does, but do you have someone who is like your biggest inspiration or that you really, really love and you like, this person inspires me all the time?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Let me see.
Okay.
I mean, I would definitely say my mom. I think that. I think that. First of all, we need to understand that we are humans and we all have our flaws. We all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We're all trying to be better people
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. We can't be perfect. We need to give ourselves grace and also extend the grace that we're giving ourselves to other people. But I'll definitely say my mom. I've learned a lot from her. I've learned a lot from her personality. I've seen what she has done. I've seen how she is. And she's definitely like a huge inspiration to me. I don't think I have any other person that inspires me as much as my mom does, to be honest. And she's definitely she's that person, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that inspires me is the fact that there's a world outside. There's a journey outside this, right? I sometimes tell myself that I am somewhat, inspired by eternity. Like understanding, like I previously said, I'm a Christian and I believe that there's something that comes outside. Like there's something that there's just after this world ends or we die or whatever, something comes after it. And that thing that comes outside us after it is very much dependent on what we are doing here. So when I had that mind switch about that, I think it generally changed a lot of my thinking of whatever it is in this world, to be honest. Like I can't even explain it, but it changed it in a way that how I move or the things I do sometimes it's just, sometimes I get to forget, sometimes I sleep, it's okay, I'm human, that happens, but it's greatly like influenced by that, right? And so the idea that we're gonna give some sort of accountability, even though we don't have a lot of that right now, we see a lot of people doing stuff and they're getting away with it or whatever. Just the idea that, there's going to be some sort of accountability afterwards also inspires me right now. Yes, that's like the two major things that inspires me. And why I also try to just, I feel another thing that comes to it, even in terms of how much I try not to live in so much fear, just because of that, just because of how everything is vanity, to be honest. So whatever you do it because you are you feel like you're feeling purposeful. Like just try to live a purposeful life in
Yeah.
ways that you can. And it could mean anything for you, to be honest. It could
Mm.
mean anything. It could not even be tied to your work. It could
Mm-hmm.
not be tied to what you're doing. It could just be tied to the fact that you just enjoy, I don't know, taking a walk, or you just enjoy doing things that just, give you,
A
fresh
sense
air.
of purpose, a new
Yes,
drive.
so like, yeah, I mean that's it for me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So I watched a show yesterday or some
Yeah.
days back, and these ladies were talking about working in an environment that lacks purpose, and the way people might be aggressive towards you, and you need to understand that beyond that person is a driving force that can be disarmed by your love. Imagine somebody coming and screaming, "Don't you know?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Are you okay? You don't talk like this normally. Is something wrong?" And it's like, "Okay, that was not the reaction I was expecting, but yeah." And you could just see the person break down. I'm like, "I'm so overwhelmed." People go through a lot, so be kind. Find purpose for yourself and live from a place of purpose, whatever you're doing, whether it's career, getting a dog, taking a walk, whatever it is, be purposeful about it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it helps. It helps because a lot
Yeah.
of people are sliding into depression and being suicidal, and it's not just about not being wealthy or not having money. Some of them are really
There's a lot
wealthy.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, really
There's a lot of,
wealthy. Yeah,
yeah.
so
I would say for sure that you should send me what you watched.
I
I
will.
definitely want to watch that.
I will. I
Yeah.
will. I
Because
was really shocked.
I think it's actually something I've actually personally reflected on, as to how I think it goes back to what I previously said, as to how you have to same grace that you give yourself. Because sometimes
Extend it.
when you try to give yourself, you extend it.
Hmm.
You extend it, to be honest. And sometimes, I mean, for me, I might sometimes lash out. That's sometimes how I'm not going to say that I'm very
Perfect.
100% calm. I can sometimes lash out, but I figured that when you tend to kind of process things, and sometimes it might not even be a thing. I think it's just all about learning, and it's all about building yourself. To be honest, you might be somebody who like, if I actually tell you that when I was in secondary school, I had serious anger issues. You won't believe it. You would just. I mean, people in my secondary school, unfortunately for them, I'm not talking to a lot of them again. But like, they probably will see me now and say, "That's not the Ore I knew back then. Nah, that's not the Ore." Like, just really understanding that this is not even helping you as a person. How do you not think it would help the person, like,
Yeah, next
close
to
to
you.
you, or the person next to you? So definitely, please send me that. I want to
will.
watch it.
I will.
I
So,
want-
what's your final word for anybody looking to whatever? I think we've said a lot, but yeah, what's your final word to maybe
Yeah.
getting into tech, communications, life in general? Because without life, there's no career, there's no purpose. Yeah, so
I would say for sure the first thing is for you to advocate for yourself. Very important, please. Like, it's so important that I'm even reminding myself to also do the same. Because sometimes we tend to forget. We tend to forget our strength. We tend to forget our impact. We tend to forget how far we've come. And I think this is what I told you before I joined. I was like, this is going to be good for me, because it's just important that I talk about it, to remind myself. And when you talk about it, sometimes if you just sit down and just start talking, it'd be like maybe somebody's mad. But like, when somebody's actually asking you, do you get what I mean? Like,
I do.
Realize that you have come so far and you're still learning. It's like you're just starting. Okay, so advocate for yourself. One, please keep learning. And tweet. Okay, I got into tech because I tweeted that I wanted. You actually have no idea. Reading your tweets. I mean, in fact, I've interviewed people like investors and people who have been invested in, and how they always say that many of the circuit they have now started from Twitter. So use that platform as
Twitter.
I'm telling you,
people don't like Twitter because sometimes I think the way I use Twitter is that I come on, show my work, and sometimes I talk to myself on Twitter. I'm tweeting
Oh,
not because I want your
wait.
response.
I need to check
I'm
the Twitter
just
now.
saying it out. So on Friday, I did something really cool at work, and I went on Twitter and like, I'm so proud of myself. I just clapped for myself. I literally clapped for myself, and I tweeted it because I wanted to cement it in time that whenever I go through my tweet, I can see that moment and I was really proud of myself. So there are times like that that you're not necessarily tweeting to get people to engage. You're just saying things from your mind.
Always.
Yeah.
That's how I use Twitter, to be honest. Like, I was actually struggling with some of the scented candles I've gotten,
Oh,
and
okay.
how they don't, like, why are they not choking me? And literally everybody, people were retweeting and saying, "Ah, on me too." Like, what? So it was good that it's not only me that I'm like in this
Wow.
position. That's like an example. Do you get what I mean? So keep
Yeah.
advocating for yourself.
Yeah, I think I need to connect with you on Twitter.
To be
Then.
honest.
I don't know how we are not connected, but yeah.
Cool, actually, join communities that kind of like are aligned with what you're looking for or whatever, and keep applying. Okay.
Absolutely.
Have, especially for women, please have the audacity. I keep saying it that men have audacity.
They do.
I still talked about this thing yesterday with somebody, and sometimes you have to keep reminding yourself. You will see a role and it's just like, do I qualify? Nah, girl.
Apply.
As long as it's a role that you believe that you can learn in, you can
Apply.
go in, you're
Yeah.
teachable, please apply. Like,
Apply.
the worst that will probably happen is you will get,
No.
you don't even get called.
They ghost you.
They even responded to you. But the worst that could happen is you might not even get called. Do you get what I mean? So, like, keep building, keep networking. I mean, another thing, even in regards to networking, it's not even about even attending events or whatever. I'll give you an example. I admired someone who is also like in this com space, and I reached out to her on LinkedIn and I said, "Can we have lunch?" I mean, it's the audacity for me.
I love it.
Can we have lunch? She said, "Okay, no problem. We can have lunch." And we had lunch.
That's cool.
And it was interesting, just bouncing ideas and just actually realizing that you're not alone. So if there's anybody that you want to talk to, I mean, you have to be careful at the same time. But I mean, as long as it's an open space, because we actually went to a restaurant in Lagos, Nigeria, and it's like open space, and it was refreshing. My God, just having that conversation and bouncing ideas and realizing that you are even almost having the same struggle as a woman who is in comms, who they see your work as you're not doing enough. You're not. I get that. Okay. Another thing I would say for sure is be loud. When I started working in a workplace, I always used to see myself as somebody who was behind the scenes. It's a very bad thing. I'm gonna say it as it is. And sometimes I'm like that right now. Still like that. And I had a meeting with one woman who was like a boss. She wasn't like my manager per se, she was my manager's manager. And she told me straight up, "All right, I need you to be loud." It's like about 2 to 3 years ago, I started to understand what she meant by that. I was doing the work. Like, I was doing the work.
But you were not owning it.
I wasn't owning it. And she's like, "All right, I need you to be loud." And I'm just like, what is the last thing? To be loud. I need you. Let's get that. But I feel like maybe it would have been good if she had explained to me what she meant by being loud. Because that being loud felt like maybe she felt like I was too quiet, I wasn't doing enough. But that wasn't the case. It was just that I was doing these things, but I wasn't, I'm here, see me, look at me. It might not necessarily be that, but like, it's loud. And loud could really essentially be anything for you. It could be you creating an online portfolio. It could be you tweeting or sending posts on LinkedIn. When you're loud, okay, don't let it. And I think maybe that's the reason why she was vague with what that thing was. Maybe she wanted me to reflect on it and understand what loud means. Because you want me to be loud, and I decide to be loud based on how you want me to be loud. But it's how you, the capacity you have yourself to be loud. So yeah, I think that's my final words.
Thank you so much, Aurora. I think another thing that we need to overcome as women, as people, is you need to be comfortable with being rejected. For every success, there's been rejections. you
Yeah.
you can reach out to somebody and they will tell you, oh no, I don't want to meet up with you. Or they could say, they could even ghost you and not respond to you. That's not a damage on your personality. I know it's easy to say, maybe one day I'll do an interview of how I searched for job for months till I got my perfect fit. But my point is, be willing to get that no, because if you don't try, you won't get the yes that will
Yeah.
take you that to that next level. It's going to at first hurt you so much, but at the end of the day you get used to it, and then you,
Yeah.
you keep moving with the very yeses that you get. I didn't know Ore was going to say, oh, let's do this interview, if I never asked her. And in my head I'm like, I wanted to ask Ore, but I don't know if Ore was. Ore will be like, you'd never asked, so how do I know what is in your head? So nobody knows what's in your head. You need to go ahead and ask, apply for that job, ask those questions, network. Ore has said a lot of tips. Of course, I'm going to highlight it. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ore, for taking out
Thank
this
you.
time.
This was fun. I can't wait to see the final product.
I can't wait
Thank you
to.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm be scared of using excited. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, what?
Scared of using the word excited. Is it because of Kanye West or something? I don't know.
Well, well, let me tell you something. This is when I watched that episode,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna. I think, and this is something we always have to understand. The things we listen to, the things we watch,
Absolutely.
the things we do shape us
us.
in ways that you might not even know.
Hmm.
When I watched that episode, I tweeted it.
Can you imagine?
And I just had like a few seconds of thinking that truly, whenever I say I'm excited to someone, I'm really not excited. If what I feel might not even be excitement.
Yeah.
It might just be a thing of I'm anxious.
Hmm.
I'm anxious about something,
Hmm.
or I can't wait,
Hmm.
or I'm curious.
Hmm.
But because excited is like so when it came from I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Hmm.
Damn, in fact, I stopped using it, by the way. I don't. It's so funny, even in my comms now.
Yeah.
I don't say,
I'm excited again.
Everyone's always excited. Everybody's always chilled. But is that how you're really feeling? Yeah, I mean, it's something.
But guys, honestly, I'm excited for this episode to go. See what Kanye West has done to us. But yeah, anyways, thank you so
I think
much.
it's just about being truthful.
Yeah.
About what you say. Do you understand?
Yeah, it
And
is.
him saying, "Oh, it's a negative." Well, that's from his own perspective.
Yeah.
Because, and I think maybe because of how he probably used to be when he used to say, "I'm excited," and he's actually not feeling like excitement, right? But it's just about being truthful when you use it. Jen, that's how I picked it. Not necessarily like the word is like a negative word or whatever.
Yeah. So guys, honestly, I'm so glad Ore got to tell us our story. Our story is still being written every second of the day and every day. So thank you so much, Ore.
Thank you.
That's a star girl right there. You better know her. I'm gonna be linking our YouTube channel in the description box for you to follow. Please follow. Yes, Ore star.
I mean, reach out to me if you have like further questions. Always ready. Always, I want to say always excited. Oh
my god.
Always, I don't like what he is doing. Always willing. Always willing to help. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Okay, one last gist, guys. When I was leaving St. Box, Ore bought me a birthday cake. No, not a birthday. It wasn't even a birthday. It was a bye-bye cake. Who buys a cake for bye-bye? She probably doesn't even remember. I'm like, wow, I was so mesmerized, honestly. People did a lot. I'm so grateful for everybody's support.
I mean, I think
it made me really
I
happy.
I always used to say this thing. I always used to say that first of all, your colleagues are not your friends,
I know.
right? But in a workspace, there are always people that you are, if you have conversations with them, you will see that they are aligned with maybe your goal that you have, or maybe your vision, or somebody that you want to continue a relationship with. And everywhere I've worked, I always had that one person. And for some months, it was you, which is you and somebody else. I'm not going to mention him, but you
No
and
problem.
somebody else. So that definitely happened. And you living, maybe you came from the fact of, I understand why you're leaving, and you want working with you. Hardly will you ever work with somebody and you be like, my God, I actually enjoyed working with this person. Like, enjoyed. And this is you being like truly honest. So I definitely enjoyed working with you. And
I really, really enjoyed working with Ore. Is brilliant. Let me just, in fact, I need to blow Ore's on a little bit, just in case. If I was ever going to start a startup and I was looking for a co-founder in communications, Ore is the girl. She knows what she's doing. She's brilliant. She understands her job, and she knows how to be an all-rounder. So you can't find that. It's not common. And she's a light. She likes Jesus. She's light, so she's a good girl. It's not those ones that we will say we like Jesus, but we are doing something else. Is in alignment with loving Jesus. When you love Jesus, you spread love. I'm not going to cut this part out. You guys are going to hear this part, because beyond the career thing is who we truly are. So I'm going to release it like that.
My year is made, honestly. That's all I can say. My year is made. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.